Warning, this content is for entertainment and educational purposes only. What's up, everybody?
Hey,
What's happening?
Morning.
Good morning.
How are you folks?
Good.
amazing.
All right. Yeah.
I need to
Fantastic.
figure out. I need to figure out how. Now that we have this new vertical format, I need to figure out how the hell to simulcast this on Instagram. Instagram has a very complicated process to live stream from an app. Same thing with Rumble. You need to get it over there. So yeah, it's been a fucking busy week. I'm actually back in the gym training again. Week
Yeah,
two of
how's that going for you?
Okay. I pushed the weights up a little bit more this week, and my shoulder let me know.
Oh,
It was a little grumpy. I mean, my doctor told me, he was like, look, you're not at any structural risk of a tear any more than a normal person right now. That the soreness and pain is just going to be probably just the joint barking at you. It's arthritic and it's still healing. He said it might be a year or two before it feels 100%. He told me for me 80% would be 100%. So that's kind of where I'm at this point.
Now, do you feel any weakness, or do you just feel like you're trying to,
Oh, it's significantly weaker than my right side. My left side is like I went up. I was doing the shoulder. This is going to be meaningless to people, but I did the Atlanta shoulder press this week. And I used to work up to like four plates and a 25 on the Atlanta shoulder press for 8 to 10 reps. And I worked up to, I think it was 2 and a 25, which felt really light on my good arm. And I was struggling to get 8 to 10 with my left. So my strength is probably, if I were to estimate, is probably about 60% of what it was before. The weird thing is like, I don't think I really have atrophied that much. It's, it looks like I've hung on to a fair amount of stuff. I'm still 250, just kind of hanging around between 240 and 250. My body fat's a little higher right now than what I'd like it to be, but
well, given the circumstances, though, that's a really good prognosis. It sounds like. It's major shoulder surgery. You're lifting weights. You maintained your weight without going overboard. Maintain muscle mass. That all seems like positive things. You did all the right things. It sounds like.
Yeah, Zionic says you got to complete one set of pro so you don't wind up exactly how you described the others in the Elite FDS video. Yeah, that's. I could kick myself in the ass for just not getting through and doing the Tampa last year. That's what I kind of lived vicariously through my one client. He won at Masters Nationals this year, and I'm like, dude. He's like, I don't know if I need a break. I'm like, dude, the Tampa's next week. Just go do it. You're already in shape, man. Just go down there and do it and see what happens so you can step on shade. And dude ended up getting second place. So,
but you know what? You'd just be further back because you would have had to put that time into prep, and then you would have delayed your surgery.
It's only 1 week.
Yeah. Hey, well, yeah. Now, do you have any tactics to bring up strength on one side that's weaker than the next, or how do you?
I'm right now trying to keep the weights the same on both sides because I don't want to get any more of it. I was training unilaterally, which there is some evidence that shows that unilateral training prevents atrophy on the side that you're not training. It's funny, my surgeon didn't know about it. I told him, and he was like he was like Googling it when he was there in my office. He's like, oh yeah, you're right. I didn't know that. He said there are studies out there. So yeah, it seemed to work, but the problem is now my right side is like close to 90% of the strength that I left off, and then my left side is half, 60%.
Gotcha.
Yeah,
but I'm sure you have a strategy though to start balancing that out and so forth, right?
You know what the strategy is? Just progressive overload. I'm just gonna
That's right.
I'm just gonna, add 5 pounds next week, see what happens. Add another 5 pounds the following week, see what happens, and just keep progressing up. And steroids, that's another strategy.
A-bomb strategy. Yeah.
Get your Anadrol.
I mean,
have you looked at blood flow restrictive training at all?
yeah, I mean, my PT talked about it. There's some other stuff. I'm still going to physical therapy. There's mixed. I have mixed feelings on it. I know some people swear by it. I mean, I'm willing to try anything.
Are you doing the BPC 157 TB 500, the traditional combo? Any of those?
Not currently. I mean, there's the injury's healed. I don't know that there's any really additional benefit right now. I try to limit that stuff. There is some, I think there's a time and place for it, but like I don't like running that shit year round if I can help. I know guys that run the stuff year round. I think there's really no positive for, and I have to wonder, with my past history of cancer, anything that's going to increase microvascularization. I'm not saying that it causes cancer, but you know what I'm saying? I'm just like,
risk reward. It's the risk reward right there.
Yeah, if there's any tumor growing somewhere, I don't want to give it any assistance more than I'm already giving it. I'm already, doing other stupid shit. But honestly, though, like I think the biggest thing you can do to drive recovery is nutrition, and then just taking the basic PEDs. They probably do more than any of the peptides do.
Yeah.
I mean, GH is the ultimate healing peptide. Everybody's talking about healing peptides. GH is the king of the healing peptides. Yeah. Although I've seen some crazy results with the GHK CU. That stuff is pretty fucking wild. I am always a bit of a skeptic when it comes to this shit, but some of the skin tightening and some of the, I mean, even your results, Dave, it's fucking pretty crazy.
Yeah. I find it beneficial. I mean, it kind of blows my mind. I have a friend that's been doing some creams for like facial creams, like for some like what do they call it, crow's feet, scenario. Yeah. And it's been working. I mean, and it's quick. It's surprising how quick. A couple of weeks, you're like, I can't believe the results. But I've only used it topically. I mean, that stuff's terrible to inject. It stings like a mother.
Yeah, it does hurt like fuck. Still, okay, does GH have a noticeable impact on nerve healing? No, nerves are really fucking slow to regenerate. Like it can take years.
Yeah.
I remember when I had my ACL surgery, there's a nerve they have to cut through in your knee to do the ACE. I forget which one it is. It runs down. You end up getting fucking numbness down your shin and in your toes. And it took like a good 4 or 5 years for that to go away. Whoa. Even with GH.
Oof. Yeah. My father's got a lot of nerve damage from his back surgeries over the years. And they even told him, like, ideally, if you're able to get the nerve connections to grow or to heal back properly at like a millimeter a month, you're like, that's really, really good. So then you start doing the math of like how much time you're going to need to recover. And not just looking at one connection, it's nerves going everywhere throughout from your spine to your different parts of your body. So yeah, that's a real tough one to
that was a deep fibular nerve. That was it. I mean, it's a slow process. Even if GH speeds it up by like 30%. I mean, what are you cutting down from 3 years to 2 years, right? But yeah, I have been running basically nothing all year. I've been just on 200 tests. I wasn't even running GH for about 5 months. I took a long break, and I just moved my time. I don't know the exact doses because I'll be honest with you guys. When I do my shots is when I remember to fucking take them, which is pretty spotty at best. I just need to do them every day. That's the only way I'll be structured with it and take them.
Mm-hmm.
That's the only way I keep up with it. But I would estimate something like 200 to 300 tests and 150-ish primo I'm on right now.
Mm-hmm.
And then I just started GH back up again. for the first time in a long time at 4 units. God damn, the first effect I noticed with the GH is how tired I am. I had way more energy when I wasn't running the GH, way more.
Are you pinning the GH like early in the morning fasted or evening?
No. I do it at night.
At night, right before bed?
Yeah, especially with me being a diabetic, running the GH during the day is a bad idea.
Sure.
I definitely will see a pretty marked rise in my baseline glucose levels if I take the GH during the day. I will sometimes split up because if you think, like, if you look at I'm by no means a biochemist, but from what I have deduced, if you look at the pharmacokinetics of GH, the lipolytic effect of it, the shift to lipolysis, which is what causes the temporary rise in glucose levels, lasts for about 6 to 8 hours. Peaks around 2 to 3 hours after you take the GH, and then lasts for about 6 to 8. And then the elevation in IGF-1, if you believe that the systemic IGF-1 has any impact on muscle growth, that's up for debate. Yeah. But that lasts for 48 up to 72 hours. So I mean, if we logically think about it, like in an off season, when we're smashing carbs, we probably don't want to be taking the GH around carb meals just to be safe.
Yeah.
And that lipolytic effect probably is. And the way bodybuilders used to deal with it is they would split the GH doses up throughout the day and take fucking insulin with it. But the issue you run into, and this is a problem I see frequently with guys, they're treating high glucose levels with Lantus. They're like, well, my fasting glucose levels are high, and I'm from running GH, so I'm taking some Lantus, and now I'm back down to normal. And I'm like, yeah, but your baseline level of insulin that your body is using is just went up here, and then when you raise the like let's say that I'm just throwing out arbitrary numbers, but let's just say your body makes about 1 unit per hour, which I think is roughly what it does for your basal insulin level, and you take that up to 2 by running some. Yeah, you would know better than me. Yeah, maybe a half a unit to a unit, depending on how much food you're eating. That you've just doubled that, and so you're really increasing the risk of insulin resistance at that point. What I see is if you're having to use Lantus to bring down your fasting glucose levels, you probably have some sort of underlying insulin resistance that needs to be addressed. You're just masking a problem and probably making that problem worse.
Yeah, in the long run.
Yeah, over time it'll compound.
Yeah, and so that was like the old school thing. Is like, hey, I'm going to split up my GH doses, and I'm just going to take some insulin to get myself back in line, which is a strategy. But I would say for your long-term metabolic health, there are quite a few older bodybuilders that are type 2 diabetics. I know of one very popular one. I can't mention names, but I've spoken to him off the record. That is a type 2 diabetic. He doesn't insulin dependent. He doesn't speak about it publicly, but
to be fair, a lot of people once you get past 40 start hitting to quite type 2.
Yeah. I mean, it is.
If you're doing it for 25 and you've given yourself type 2 diabetes, you need to work on something.
Yeah. I mean, it's an age related, right? It's like an accumulation of and I probably, with the things I did with diet and stuff when I was younger, probably more so from just being fucking fat. I sped along the process for me with my issues. But yeah, I mean, I think people get the whole GH thing wrong with insulin. I would say, look, if you want to be conservative and protect your long-term metabolic health, I could understand the argument for using GH split up during a contest prep phase, because you do want that lipolytic effect, and you're probably not eating carbs throughout the day. You're, at least the way I structure diets, usually carbs on contest prep are stacked around the workout window, and then you just keep it away from that time period. But if we think about it, like in the off season, if IGF-1 stays elevated for 2 to 3 days post injection, you don't need to split the doses up.
Well, the old answer used to be, people would ask, when I was being brought up around this, they used to say, well, when do you take your growth hormone? And a lot of coaches, a lot of people would just say, get it in at any time. Just at this point, doesn't matter. Get it in at some point during the day. And now we're starting to learn there is a little bit of a strategy, like you say. If you have carbohydrates high, I would be timing it at bedtime to try to.
Well, I mean,
sure
it goes
it's not
back.
interfering.
It goes back to the argument that Kurt made. Is if you look at the instructions for any, for Serostim, pretty much any GH, pharmaceutical GH, it's administer it at night.
Yeah.
Administer it before bed.
Yeah. But you do make a good point for prep. If carbs aren't very present, then the only thing you're dumping back into the blood could be fats to be burned. So if you're breaking up,
yeah, I mean, and that shift to lipolysis is going to raise blood glucose. So it would make sense that to probably not eat a lot of carbs in that situation.
Nighttime GH, daily fasted cardio.
Yeah. I mean, that would be a good, and that also plays back into the thing where people say fasted cardio doesn't make a difference. And I'm like, maybe if you're enhanced,
I was going to say,
it does. I can tell you it does. I know that once I started doing it, I have labs that prove that improved cholesterol. I mean, all around, just by doing my 20-25 minutes of morning fasted cardio.
That's another one of those bro science things that, and look, I've gone back and forth on it. Like it is ultimately net energy balance. I get that, but we also have to think people are purely looking at it on the surface level of burning calories, but it's not just burning calories. It's like where those calories are being burned from.
100%.
Are we burning off glucose that's in the bloodstream? Are we burning off, if glucose is lower, we're probably shifting towards burning fat. I mean, that also plays, I think people forget we don't want to just burn calories. We want to burn fat when we're trying to lose fat. That there is a difference. Absolutely. I mean, you could be burning off glycogen. You could be burning off blood glucose, liver glycogen. I mean, there's you could be in gluconeogenesis and burning up fucking amino acids.
Right.
So, I mean, I think that is a distinction. I would say, look, for your general population person, just get the fucking cardio and it doesn't matter. But like in a bodybuilding sense, when you get super lean, these timings do make a difference in the result on stage.
Well, I know right now, even at progress season for me, I missed a couple of sessions of fasted cardio last week, and I had a day where my fasted blood glucose spiked up to 104. So it definitely, like, it makes a difference. And I know when I'm doing it consistently, like Gonzo was just saying, my labs are definitely better.
I have missed 300 consecutive fasted cardio sessions.
You got to do those daily like your shots.
Yeah. Well, like you said, Paul, I just went, right after the Olympia, I was on Ryan's show with Aaron, and we were talking about GH, and he had a pretty convincing argument. So I bumped my dose back up to 10 IUs, and I've been just narcoleptic, man. I mean, a couple of 45
makes
minutes
you tired, right?
It's like I try to stick it out so that would equalize a little bit. But after 3 weeks, this week I dropped it back down to 6, which seems to be a dose that doesn't cause that for me.
I tried Chase's 18 units of Serostim approach, and I tapped out after about 2 weeks, dude. I couldn't. I was sitting here trying to text on my phone, and I couldn't feel my thumbs. And I'm like, my thumbs are completely gone. They're just like, they're ghost thumbs. They're not there. It was like phantom limb pain at that point. And then it was like narcolepsy, man. I'd be sitting at my desk. I'd literally fall asleep doing check-ins during the day. I'd sit there and just be dusting off, man, in the middle of the fucking day doing check-ins. I'm like, well, this doesn't work for me.
Yeah, I can't lose that much productivity. It's just too much.
No. I'd say 9 is about my upper limit. Yeah, my 9 is about my upper limit. I wanted to share this thing. There was a really, really, really good Cutler cast recently with Jay and Lee Priest, and they were talking about.
Oh, is this the one where Lee makes Jay eat McDonald's? That one?
Yeah, that was hilarious. Jay somehow I should have put that clip in. I need it, but this one was epic. But Jay said he had never eaten McDonald's in his entire life. Can you?
It was
fucking believe
hilarious.
that?
I haven't. I've never had McDonald's.
Are you serious?
What?
Never?
Yeah, positive. Nope.
Let me tell
Never
you,
had no.
I had the best McDonald's of my life yesterday. But we'll talk about that later.
I haven't had McDonald's this week. Granted, it's only Sunday, so we're only one day deep. But
Like I can tell you where there is a McDonald's near my house ish.
Uh-huh.
Barely.
oh my god,
That's
McDonald's!
as much knowledge as I have of
Parents
McDonald's.
not love you.
I grew up in a town with no fast food. There were literally no fast food.
McDonald's
my
tickles
town.
my fat kid itch so
You didn't
bad.
answer the question.
I agree with Paul, but Europe ruined me for McDonald's because I went over there and it's all different, and the food
Yeah.
quality is just
The
better.
Royale with cheese.
Yeah, I stuck with the McDoubles, but yeah, you could tell there's a difference in the texture of the meat, and their ketchup isn't great; it's sweet.
Oh,
but-
I lived in Germany for a year and a half, and it is remarkably different. Like
Well, it's because they
food
actually
taste.
have standards for food quality that we don't.
Yeah. The
we
bread
basically get
alone. The bread
we
alone
basically
is
get dog food over here.
The
It
dog
barely
food is
qualifies as
actually
food.
safer.
Well, I'm
Probably,
a West Coast
yeah.
kid, so my default is still always In and Out. So
Dude, I'm so sad. When I went to LA last month, I had one goal, and that was to get In and Out, and I did not fucking do it when I was there, man. Because we do not have In and Out here on the East Coast.
Yeah.
Mm-mm. I've
It's
never had
pretty.
it either.
It's pretty good. I tried it for the first time with my wife in Vegas. I think it was that we tried In and Out, and it was pretty good for fast food.
It used to be like when everybody, well, now I know they're everywhere, but it used to be when everybody would come to the Southeast, it was like, we're going to hit Chick-fil-A. We've heard about Chick-fil-A.
Mm-hmm.
but not on Sunday.
Not
Not
on
on Sunday.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's the
In and
worst
Out
thing
used
when
to be
you
that
want
way though
to
too, and they
Sunday.
still close on Easter Sunday. So
All right, so I want to hear what Jay had to say here. This was about training. Hang on.
We can't hear it, Paul.
Yeah, the audio's out. It seems.
Yeah, Paul, there's no audio playing.
Oh, there's no audio?
No,
Yeah,
there's no
it didn't
audio.
come out.
It's
It didn't
silent.
come out.
Oh, god damn it. Are you kidding me?
Nah.
Yeah. No
Wow.
sound.
Did they block it? No, nothing.
No audio, unfortunately.
Well, that's fucking lame. Let me remove it and try it again.
Let's give it a whirl. It was an amazing podcast, by the way. Like I would encourage anyone to watch the whole thing because it is hilarious. Lee Priest is hilarious. I would
He
love
is
to
a
hang out with
riot.
that guy. I would love to hang out with that guy.
You got to go to Australia.
Australia.
People either love or hate him, that's for sure.
Oh, he's great.
All right.
He certainly likes McDonald's.
Yeah.
All right, let me try this again. Let me know if there is audio.
Nope.
Nah, I guess it must be blocked.
No
Yeah,
audio?
No,
No,
audio,
there's no like if you look at your icon, there's no mic on it on your
Nothing?
mm-mm.
That is fucking lame. God damn it.
Probably because you're on a couple live platforms. I don't know if they block it.
Yeah, it might be. Well, anyway, Jay Cutler was talking about the one set to failure thing and how he always trained with volume. I don't know.
Just
I'm
send me
gonna-
the link. I'll try it.
Yeah, you can
I
try.
don't know why
and
that
see.
would matter, but we might as well give it a shot.
Yeah, it could be. It could be.
Live
It
without
could
a
be.
wire, folks. Here we go.
I'm putting it in the. I've never had
Got
this
it.
issue before.
Let's try.
But yeah, it was an interesting conversation. They were talking about volume. They were talking about 2 times a day training. They were talking about the training to failure thing. And Jay Cutler was basically talking about like he never trained to failure. He would do 5 sets of 5
Oh, there it is.
to failure like that to have a lot of wear and tear on their body. I was taught early from like reading, Arnold stuff, and then Chris Aceto kind of took me under his wing and kind of taught me a little bit about training. And I think that's the theory that I followed. So it was volume training, repetitions from 8 to 12, shorter rest periods. Honestly, it worked for me. You don't see a lot of 50-year-old guys going at Dorian Yates type training and getting the most benefit out of it. Everyone was on this kick, one set to failure type thing. So the way
that's it. Yeah, I don't know if that was him clapping back at Dorian a little bit, because Dorian was kind of talking, about the reps and reserve thing this week. Or I think it was last week. I don't know. It might have been him. Him clapping back at him a little bit. It seemed like, but
I have strong opinions on this one because I've done both. And I will tell you, like at 54, I tried this, Paul, right before I started training with you, I was doing the JP style one set to failure, super heavy. And I was constantly either getting injured, in pain, soreness, couldn't sleep with the shoulder. And the moment within 2 months of changing to high volume training without going to failure, within 2 months, I have zero pain in my body. I mean, zero. And I trained 6 days a week. So
yeah, I mean, the way I look at it, it's there's knobs that you can turn on the training spectrum. If you're going to turn intensity up, you got to turn the volume and the frequency way down, and vice versa. If you're going to turn the intensity down, but I like, to me, like this, it's bizarre that there's this notion that training with more volume is somehow soft. I'm like, bro, come to the gym and try to do 20 sets of chest sometime, and you tell me if that's fucking soft. Doing one set and I'm out in 30 minutes. That's I don't know. It's different. But look, they both work. People get very emotional about it. I know if I want to trigger people on social media, I put some posts up.
That's one of them. That's a trigger for sure.
Yeah. A trigger point for muscle nerds on social media is training volume and intensity. Another one is low carb, high fat diets.
Reps in reserve, man. Just say like, I love reps in reserve, and watch the fireworks.
Look, I'm not like sitting here thinking like I'm 3 RIR. Like people ask me how many RIR I am, and I'm like, I don't fucking know, man. I just go in and I train when I feel like I'm getting close to where my form is starting to break down, then I put the weight down. I mean, it's just kind of
pay more attention. Yeah, you just pay more.
Yeah, attention. And I do still try to train progressively. I think you should try to progress where you can. If you're using the same weights over and over and over, week after week after week, month after month, year after year, you're probably not going to grow.
Right. No, for sure.
But a bigger muscle is a stronger muscle. So I mean that is undeniable. I'm going to send you this other.
And we can also measure that progression in different ways. Like it doesn't have to be like it's such a, I don't know.
Well, I mean, volume is progressive to a certain degree too.
Yeah, of course. I mean, if you're adding a rep here, a rep there, same weight, but you're adding reps, or adding sets. I mean, that's progression.
Or adding time under tension.
Yeah, or slowing it down, right? Same amount of reps, but you're going way slower.
Well, there's also this argument too, like I hear, and look, we know that mechanical tension is the primary driver of hypertrophy, but I do think there is, and the super sciencey people will argue it, but that there's the metabolic effect of training with more volume. It doesn't work. You'll hear people say that, but I have a hard time buying into that, especially with increased GLUT4 transport, increased uptake of amino acids and glucose while you're training, especially if you're enhanced and using insulin and other things like that. That those do have an effect. I mean, you can clearly see it with the guys Mila Sarchev and Hani Rambod and Chris Aceto train. They all train with high volume, and they're all probably using insulin and a fair amount of carbohydrates, and that does have an effect. And I think people forget that the sarcoplasm is something like 80 to 85% of, well, I think it's 75 to 80% of muscle structure. It's a muscle structure only 20 to 25% contractile tissue.
You guys ready for that clip?
Yep, let's go. Sorry.
Okay. Let's get it playing.
punishment. For you to overtrain it, you have to really be, like I said, over missing meals or not sleeping and that. But
you were a volume trainer, Lee.
Yeah.
How many sets per body part would you do?
Minimum 20. Eyes would be 20, tries 20, legs could be 30 or more. I even said to Mike Mensa one time, does that really work? He goes, well, it does. Yeah, if you're under tension, you go super heavy. But most people thought you just do one warm-up set. Say your heaviest squat was 6 plates. People think you do 1 plate warm-up and then go straight to 6. So you'd be tearing all the muscles. I don't really believe in overtraining. To me, I'm like,
Yeah,
if you're getting your
Yep.
Yeah, that's another one too, is the whole
warming up to that one big set. The whole
no, the fear of overtraining. He is basically what he was talking about. People have this really bizarre fear of overtraining, and I don't think most people have ever truly overtrained. I think they mistake joint aches and pains with overtraining.
Yeah, I think you nailed it. No one who's arguing about this knows what it feels like.
Exactly.
To actually be overtrained.
It's like, have you actually ever overtrained?
I
notice. Notice.
I have had it happen one time, and I've talked about it before, and I was on contest prep, and where my central nervous system just would not fire. I'll work up to, I don't know, 8, 9 plates aside on the leg press. And I remember going into the gym to warm up with 2 plates, and I could not fucking move 2 plates. It just wouldn't move. My central nervous system just said, nope, not working today. Not working. Now that's true overtraining.
That's your body saying it's a safety cutoff switch. It's like you're not doing that.
Well, they were talking about on the podcast, like there's no elite athlete that thinks that training less leads to better result, except for bros in bodybuilding. It's just really bizarre to me. And people get very emotional and upset about it. I made a post about it this week, and there were some super angry people in my DMs.
Well, if you think about it, you shouldn't be getting yourself to a point of overtraining anyhow. If you're mindful of tracking your soreness from session to session, let's say quad session to the next session, you're able to kind of really gauge that maximum recoverable volume and find a sweet spot for yourself.
Yeah, you want to live somewhere in the middle.
Yeah, exactly. So you can just reach right up to that edge and know that your recoverability is going to get you to the next session, so you can train optimally rather than picking up soreness or rolling over soreness or soreness, what do they call it? Overlap, so you shouldn't, if you find yourself in that position, you might not be tracking metrics as well as you probably could or should be, in my opinion.
Well, I made a post and it really got some feelings hurt, that if one set to all out set to failure fucks you up so bad that you need a whole week to recover, there's something seriously wrong with you, man. Yeah, I mean, come on, man. Yeah. I mean, I look at guys that are construction workers out, or guys moving furniture all day long. I mean, these guys are lifting heavy ass fucking weight and moving shit around all fucking day long. Or football players, professional football players, that are out. They do a 2-3 hour practice, then they lift weights.
Well, and then they get beat up, like
and
the regular
after that.
Yeah. So like the human physiology and our ability to push, people say, well, then you should do 500 sets. I'm like, well, that's a stupid fucking argument. Of course, there is an upper limit to things. That 500 sets is just as ridiculous as one,
right?
In my opinion. But I've tried both ways, and I think that's a consideration that you really need to be more careful with as you age, like with the aging bodybuilder. I did HIIT style training all through my 20s, more of the Dorian Yates style training, and I really loved it. I enjoyed doing it. I do like psychologically, I love progression. I love beating the logbook. I love going in and having that mentality that I'm going to war with the weights. But you get to a point where your body just breaks if you keep doing that.
Yeah.
And that shit don't fucking work when
you have to do it.
That shit don't work. And shit don't work when you get past 40, man. Nope. And there'll be some guy comes along that says he's an exception, but then usually when you start peeling the layers of that onion back, these are the dudes that are constantly hurt.
Yeah. True. Yeah, constantly hurt. Or, I mean, we all compete. So it's different when you're in competition season, what your body can recover from, and what you could recover from in your 20s in prep versus your 20s not in prep is totally different too. If you were constantly in a calorie surplus throughout your 20s, like, yeah, you could keep pushing it like almost to no end. But at some point that has you got to pay the piper,
Yeah.
especially if calories are low.
One of the reasons why I started training in the mornings is I know you have more, sympathetic drive in the afternoon theoretically, and you can lift heavier or whatever. But I feel like when I'm training in the mornings, I can recover from it better. I am less likely to have the systemic fatigue that I can train more and spend more time in the gym and recover better.
Well, there was a third video, if you want to see it, where they're talking about training twice a day, how Lee and Jay both used to train. Jay talked about training 7 days a week, twice a day.
Wow.
Up there with Roman. Jay.
I mean,
I was doing it myself, honestly. I'm thinking about adding a second workout.
Yeah, no, I've been seriously considering it too, to kind of speed up getting back to where I've been at. I've thought about, like, with my PPO, maybe going in the morning and doing triceps, and then in the evening coming back and hitting my big compound movements.
Mm-hmm.
And then, on my pull day, doing biceps in the morning, biceps and abs, and then coming back in the evening and doing my compound movements.
Yeah.
I did try that, by the way, the twice a day thing for about 2 or 3 months. And I can't honestly, like, it wasn't bad. It really wasn't bad. It wasn't better or worse, the results I feel, than a single session. But it was interesting, like splitting it out like that, just because of the equipment I had available during the day versus the evening. It ended up working and my work schedule. But I didn't see anything better or worse, but
yeah, I mean, for me, it's just a time thing.
Exactly. It was a time management thing more than
anything. I mean, if I had a home gym where I could just walk downstairs and do the stuff, it would be a little bit different. But my days are usually packed from fucking start to finish. I just don't have, I don't know. I thought about doing an experiment and documenting it and see what happens. What's the worst that could happen? I could tear my bicep tendon again.
Well, look, there's somebody out there. Zionic said he wants to watch you go to your journey to pro. So you should start documenting that. People want to see it.
Yeah, I don't look so good right now.
I think it goes back to what Dave was saying about MRV, right? Like, if you can recover from 2 workouts a day, great. But if you don't have your recovery lined out right, you're just training like an animal, you're always going to be sore. You're never going to grow any muscle, and that's,
yeah, I mean, that's you're going to be in constant repair mode, right? You're going to be constantly repairing. Yeah.
Called, poor recovery, really, at the end of the day. It's like, I think of it as like a gas tank, right? Like you have to put all the things in the tank: proper nutrition, proper sleep, proper supplementation, proper management of your autonomic nervous system. Yeah. And when you have all those things right, your tank is here, and you've got plenty to do to deplete that tank in the gym. But if you're not completely replenishing that tank and you're going in with a half a tank every day, you're just not going to go far.
My tank is on E all the time. I just use drugs.
I mean, that bumps it up.
That's what they say about us.
That's the nitrous button on next to the gas tank. That's nitrous.
I would say, aside from a good drug protocol, recovery protocol is probably the most important.
I joke. Don't listen to me, folks. I kid. So that Tristan was saying that Roman admits his training is therapy. I wouldn't use him as a good example. Well, I mean, the results still speak. I mean, he's an elite level bodybuilder. I mean, he's one of the best, probably top 25 or 30 guys in the world.
He's a genetic outlier.
Yeah. So, I mean, whatever he's doing is working.
Yeah.
Granted, he maybe could dial it back a little bit more, but then it wouldn't be him. I personally, like, I don't give a fuck if one sec grows people better. I would not want to train that way. I just wouldn't want to train that way.
Yeah, that wouldn't be fun. I agree.
Well, it's like myself. I can honestly say, like, when Paul and I first met and I had asked him to coach me, I did tell him right off the bat, I go, the only thing I have that's a weird stipulation is the training I'm going to have full control over, just because for myself, I have to enjoy it and it helps with my sobriety. Like, I have to be able to go in there and get out what I need to get out for the day, or enjoy that aspect, or just break away from the weekly grind, in the gym. So I think you're right. There's definitely something to, if you're not enjoying your training, you should be able to find a way to get your cake and eat it too. Find a way to kind of manage it.
And here's the thing with training, what I found with through years of doing this, and this is another unpopular take, is as long as you train hard and you train with some sort of progression, how you train doesn't really matter that much. It's
Oh, I agree.
100%. The single most important thing, and I in this equation, and this is one that people just hate it when I tell them this, is diet.
Yeah. That by the way, this year that has been like you've taught me that, Paul, by the way. Like you literally taught me that.
It is the most potent thing at transforming your physique. People always want it to be PEDs. They always want it to be some
it's the
training program.
Which only makes sense. Like it's literally what you're building your body out of.
Yeah, it's your building blocks. You're right. Yeah.
Yeah. It's like if you gave someone, it's the Three Little Pigs. You build your house of straw, like it'll blow down. Like build it a brick. I mean, it's so fundamental, but people just don't want to believe it. It's like calories in, calories out that people don't want to believe. They think the GLP-1s burn fat. They don't. Like it makes you not eat, and that's why you lose weight.
Yeah. It may activate some pathways. So it may optimize some of your pathways a little bit, whatever, but it's not magic,
It's not doing, like you have to be the one to not put the food in your mouth.
Yeah. And you also have to be the one doing the exercise to not have your muscle be wasted away, right? As you drop that caloric intake. Yeah. I keep hearing that like, oh, it wastes muscle. I'm not convinced about that at all. 100%, I think it's the lack of exercise combined with the caloric restriction, combined with a terrible diet. That's where you're going to lose your muscle. I mean, I could be wrong, but that's what logic tells me. Anyway.
In extreme calorie deficit, like at the end of prep, I mean, you can definitely start burning through some muscle, but it takes getting pretty deep into a deficit before your body will do that.
Regular people don't get that lean to have to worry about it.
No.
Yeah.
Regular people don't get this lean.
Brings up a point. It's like, why do we always talk about people losing weight instead of gaining weight? In my opinion, it's harder to gain than it is. Oh, I'd agree. It's much harder to gain muscle than it is
absolutely.
Than to lose fat. But here's the caveat: 95% of people need to lose body fat.
They're too fat.
But they're too fat. That's why we talk about it most of the time. And I will tell you, like when I take on a coaching client, more times than not, it's not a muscle gain issue that I have that we need to address first. It's getting people lean enough to actually gain muscle. You can't gain muscle effectively and be a bodybuilder when you're too fat.
Yeah. And a lot of times I find myself with people that are right on the edge of like, we might be lean enough to start adding some muscle tissue. I usually don't think much of it. I put them right into a deficit for a little bit. I build that insulin sensitivity. Yep. We get a chance to focus on training and not how many high days and cheat meals I have, and really just kind of progress from that spot. So I do think they go a little hand in hand. If you're going to put on muscle mass, eventually you're going to have to clean up some of the body fat you're going to accumulate. And then if you want to grow, you got to be in a position to grow. You can't be too overweight.
Yeah. Look, I'll share my experience with Paul in this. This was my first time competing ever. And we started at, I believe it was 208 is where I started. And I thought I was lean at 208. I'm 5'8", roughly. I hit stage at 160 pounds.
If I had a nickel for every time I've heard that story, again, people come like, hey, I want to start contest prep. I'm 208. I think it would be like 195 on stage. I'm like, I don't know about that one.
Yeah. We actually estimate, what was it, Paul? 175 was kind of like the ballpark where we thought. And it turns out it was way less.
You did great out there.
That DEXA scan, man. That DEXA scan.
This is crazy. You went from 280 to 160 from start to finish.
Yeah.
Wow, Gonzo, that's amazing.
That was my heaviest right there, like around 280 pounds, 278, somewhere in there. Yeah.
You don't even look like the same person.
Yeah. The DEXA scan this Friday, a couple of days ago, was 5.8%, I think. Is where I finally landed. The guy, the technician, told my wife and I, we did it as a family because, of course, my son and I did this together. And he said he's only seen, that's my son right there.
Love it.
And he won a couple of awards.
Look at him.
Yeah. No, he won men's physique type class A. I think he won first place. So they actually gave him they created an award for him at this. This is the Iron City 2025, which I think is, I want to say it's like, I'm not sure what level competition it is. It wasn't huge, but they actually created an award, the Inspiration Award for him. You know, he's a young man with Down syndrome and autism, and he trained hard, hard. His abs are absurd.
I was just gonna say, I saw some photos and his abs were in real good.
Yeah. Oh no, he did amazingly well. So.
What did he think of the process?
Oh, he loved it. He wants to go. There's another competition in April. He wants to go and do already.
Yeah,
I'm like,
how did he do with the tan? Like, I know, like that sensory experience of getting tanned is pretty intense. Like,
he loved it. He loved it. So he was looking forward to the tan as much as to being on stage, like, because he's always been kind of fair. And he was like, I want to see what it looked like. I'm like, okay, let's. And he loved it. I mean, he loved the entire process.
That's awesome.
So
that is amazing.
Process.
Yeah, good for you guys. You guys look great.
Yeah.
Amy,
and I won my first one, by the way. I won Masters 50. So there's
there you
that.
go.
Oh, heck yeah.
Yeah. It was intoxicating experience. Now, however, it all depends on the mama bear. Like, she's gonna decide when we compete again, because she was the one who had the support system for us for 12 weeks. And it was a hard process, you know, because we had to adjust certain things in the family, like we were talking about the diet and so forth. And
it gets easier second time around.
Yeah.
You know,
right, because you know what, that's what we were talking about. Like,
yeah.
You know what to expect now. You know how this works now. So
and then once you get yourself super lean one time, it's a lot easier to get back there.
Yeah.
And you might think you know what it's going to be like your first go around, and you might be close, but until you get to walk that walk, you know, it's kind of important for sure. So that's cool.
And I will say, like, competing is a drug. It's like you hit that stage, like once you walk out there, and it is like the endorphin and dopamine overwhelmingness, I guess, for lack of a better term, is incredible. It's an incredible experience. Incredible. Amy, did you compete this weekend too? Was it this weekend?
Yeah, Amy competed.
Yeah. How did that go?
It was good.
Nice.
Yeah, it was a really best look ever. It was a totally different prepping experience this time with a different coach, and it was an incredible look. I have a lot to work on. My posing and presentation continues to be my downfall, so I have a lot to work on. But
you had a issue with your metabolism running away at the end, didn't you?
Oh yeah, in a real intense way. I was much lower body weight this year on stage than I ever have been before. But even with that, even being like 7-8 pounds lighter, I have a lot more muscle definition. Like, I was able to actually hold on to a lot of muscle, which I was shocked because I just started dropping weight like crazy. And I mean, like, if you look at like my weight scale from prep, it's like, you know, doing its little normal thing. And then like literally I lost like 7 pounds in 1 week, and then it just kept on dropping.
And you were smashing food, right?
Oh my gosh, I've never eaten so much. I've like eating like whole sleeves of rice cakes a day, you know, plus with honey. I mean, just like eating more than I've ever eaten, like 200 grams of rice per meal. I mean, just like insane amounts of food. And yeah, it just kept dropping. Luckily, my coach competed a week ago, so he competed the week before me. So I didn't check in with him when I normally do, and my weight was down even lower that day. I'm like, he doesn't need to stress about this today. I'm just going to wait till tomorrow to tell him about this. But then it started to come back up. But it took like 2 weeks of like just eating everything in sight to even get it to like stabilize. It was nuts. I've not experienced that in the past. It was pretty crazy.
Well, that's typical for me. That's what happens to me. I'd say like 1 out of 20 people I prep have that issue. It's wild to see when it happens. It's like Justin talks about. It's like a diesel engine that runs away.
Yeah,
I had the same experience, Paul. Like, if you check the logs that I sent you, because I was like almost 170 at the start of the Saturday before. So it was 10 pounds. Like, by the time I hit. Yeah,
I think a lot of yours was water weight. But
yeah, my water retention thing, whatever. I don't understand what that's all about. You'll have to explain that to me. But it seems like I would lose 8 pounds in a day.
Yeah, overnight. Water? Yeah, you'd flush.
Overnight.
I mean, 8 pounds of water is a gallon.
Yeah, it was crazy.
So, yeah, I mean, some people just flush more than others. It's aldosterone. It has to do with aldosterone.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, Amy, that's a challenging situation, and sometimes like you keep, it's like throwing more coal in the fire. You throw more carbs at it, and the metabolism burns even hotter.
Yeah, like I couldn't believe, like I would eat this, what I would think in my mind was like going to be this huge meal, and I would be like starving after. Like I was hungrier when I finished it than when I started it. I'm like, how is this even possible?
It's like your body was primed to grow. I mean,
well, I don't know.
Primed to grow.
I don't know how Tommy feels about it, but usually when I see that situation happen with people, that's when you get the crazy awesome rebound afterwards.
That's what I'm hoping for.
Seriously,
but I'm so excited.
But you got to keep the food. You got to keep the food coming. That's the thing.
Yeah. No, I actually, when I had a lot of time yesterday and I said, no pressure, but can you send me my reverse plan now? Just like kind of start thinking about it. And he did. And like, I was surprised to see how much he's kept in, because I was kind of expecting, because I guess in previous coaching situations, I've had my, the carbs all go away. It's like, it basically takes it back to like your 4 weeks out diet, like where it's like pretty low right after the show, but it's it's still a lot of food, and it's still.
Oh, there's Tommy. We need to get Tommy. We need to get you on sometime, dude.
Yes.
Yeah.
You need to come on with us.
I mean, I was amazed. I was telling Mike this before we started, like how Tommy was able to predict my look, but then also maintain it all day. I had 8 hours between when I got off stage from prejudging until I stepped on stage to finals. 8 hours.
Wow.
And 3 of those hours I had to spend standing up. So it was, and even with that, no swelling in my feet or ankles. I mean, I was looking at some of these other ladies. I mean, there was a woman who was next to me, like her calves were like, you couldn't barely see where her calves like turned into her foot. I mean, she was so swollen. I'm like, nothing. Like I was like, stayed dry, stayed lean, wasn't shaky, no muscle control, like no muscle cramping. I mean, it was remarkable. Like, I don't even know how he did that. Like, it was like it felt like a 24-hour day of being at that show.
and your glutes and hamstrings were fuller than I've ever seen them on stage.
Oh my gosh. They stayed full. And that's what I mean. Like, even though, I mean, by the end I was out of food, I had literally like 1 ounce of water left that I was like barely sipping to try and make it last. I was like down to my one last rice cake. And even with like all my fullness stayed. It was remarkable. Like it was, I don't know how he did it.
You just start drinking the honey out of the bottle.
That's what he said. He's like, he goes, just coat it in honey.
I wasn't joking.
Yeah. No, I had this little baby spoon because I was getting low on honey. So I was like scraping out the inside of the container and just like.
Usually when I have.
Go ahead, Paul.
I don't know if it would be different with women, but usually when I have guys that this happens with, I'll get aggressive with the food post show, but you just have to watch water retention, because sometimes if you get too aggressive with the carbs, you end up turning into a water buffalo. But
well, this is hysterical because I was eating so many carbs. I mean, like 700 grams of carbs, and what day was it? It was probably Thursday when I was like,
you had 700.
Yeah,
That's
I was
crazy.
like reaching my limit. I'm like, my feet were so swollen at the end of the day because I'd been standing up. We'd been in surgery all day, and I was texting Tommy, and he's like, "Can you decline your bed?" And I'm like, I live in I live in a studio apartment in the city. Like, I do not have those supplies. I said those were not on my peak week plan, but I managed. I was like, what can I do to MacGyver this situation to decline my bed? So I had ordered a whole bunch of cases of this sugar-free or the zero A&W root beer sundae flavor that I had stashed in my closet until after prep. So I pulled out 2 of those and I put one under either side of the bed. So I was able to decline it next morning, woke up, all the water was gone. I felt like I was camping all night because I was like sleeping on an incline or a decline, but it worked.
Hey, it
like
worked.
my feet were dry.
Or you can just put your feet up on a pillow. That works too.
Yeah.
No, I go big.
The MacGyver move right there.
Yep. The whole bed.
One little quick thing I wanted to touch on before we move to questions. I did see, I don't know if you guys saw this week, but the FDA removed the black label warning from women's hormone therapy.
Yes,
because it was ridiculous to begin with. Yeah,
my wife has been following that very closely. She's very much into the whole.
Yeah, they did TRT earlier in the year, and then now they did it with the women's. Like this whole fucking thing, it's just ridiculous, man. Hopefully, the next step will be to remove the scheduling of testosterone.
I mean, it's absurd. It's absurd that we have illegal substances while we're
From what
around.
I understand. And I'm not a law expert. We could probably talk to Rick about this, but from what I understand, since the FDA didn't schedule it directly, it was an act of Congress that it requires a congressional change to change the scheduling. Yeah.
Oh wow. Okay.
Interesting.
Hey.
Yeah. The Women's Healthcare Initiative and its misinterpretation of the data is the biggest setback to women's health in like the history of women's health. Like it was egregious.
I mean, so many women well, I mean, it was the case with men too. I mean, people that need hormone replacement as they age, we're denied it because of this false narrative that there was, I mean, maybe there is some increase. I mean, we know what the risks are with hormone replacement therapy. We're pretty aware of it, but goddamn, man, I just go back to like, it's really vitality versus longevity.
Yeah.
And then
Health
it's
span.
also
Health
it's
span.
health span, and then it's also like, it's my damn body.
Yeah.
I don't
There's that too.
want some politician in DC telling me what I can do with my fucking body.
Yep. 100%. You know, we had Chandler tested for testosterone just, as part of his labs, just to make sure that he's okay. And we actually ran across a physician who says they're an expert in hormone therapy. He came out on the low end, about 300, I guess, total on the lower end of natural.
Well, that's normal these days.
Yeah, I know. I mean, but he's a 27-year-old young man, and now get this though. We are like, well, we're interested in optimizing him, and getting him to like a healthy level, somewhere in the mid-range, hopefully, where it's healthy. And this expert in hormone therapy said that the only reason that she would recommend him to be on testosterone therapy or to look into that would be for libido reasons. And I'm like, let me get this straight, like, because only libido is your factor, your determining factor? And she's like, yeah, and I'm an expert on hormones.
Yeah.
I say no more.
I would find a new expert.
We are. We are.
I mean, you could also consider HCG monotherapy in a situation like that. That might be a good place to start.
Yeah, because it's absurd. He's completely healthy. He follows a very good diet and regimen of exercise. He's pretty optimized. So it's the whole mindset of like only libido and reproductive ability is the reason, because he's a young man with Down syndrome, that's not a factor. That's very dismissive. I found it actually insulting. Very
well.
insulting.
I mean, I found.
So anyway, that was an experience. I
found most endocrinologists and GPs to be absolutely useless when it comes to hormone replacement therapy.
Well, Down syndrome aside, but you put him on 300 tests and 150 primo, it's going to change his life.
I can't even think of him. If I did that with how he works out, he would be like, I'd be scared. I'd live in fear.
All right, we want to get some questions in.
Yes, we got a bunch. Got one from Necrophil, about to start his first cycle. Plan is 500 milligrams test per week. Question is, what sort of titrating up protocol would you recommend? And would you recommend running tamoxifen just in case of gyno?
I don't recommend running tamoxifen just in case. Tamoxifen carries a high risk of, well, I wouldn't say high, but it's not insignificant risk of clotting. And I have known some people that have had clotting issues with tamoxifen. It's there, it's a break glass in case of emergency kind of situation. But I would say for super physiological effects, I usually, like with most people, I would say the beginning point of super physiological testosterone use is probably somewhere around 250 to 300 milligrams of testosterone a week, somewhere around there. I think the general upper limit for TRT is around 200 milligrams currently. I've heard that they're upping that. It's 400 right now. Yeah, I know in some situations, yeah. But I have never seen over. I think you're muted, Josh.
Oh yeah.
There we go. 400.
I could read your lips though, and your sign language is very good.
Well,
that's the downside of that microphone. You just barely touch it; it turns off. Yeah. So what I usually would say is I would start testing. I would slowly and incrementally raise up the doses over an 8 to 10 week period of time, and then you'll find, if you find that you start having estrogen issues, you may need to use an aromatase inhibitor. That probably would be the first line of defense. And tamoxifan's really, like, I really try to steer my guys away from it if we can help it. If you get in a situation where you do have a lump, I would run it in just a short dose just to get rid of it and then get back off of it. It's not something you want to just be proactively running.
Yeah, and it might help alleviate any issues prophylactically for gyno, but you could also risk raising your estrogen at the same time by blocking, where tamoxifen is a SERM. I believe you could just continue to raise your estrogen even though you're improving your gyno. So I'd also say start with getting a baseline of blood work so you see where you're at first, monitor these things. I wouldn't throw in a SERM or an AI right off the bat if you don't know how you're going to react to whatever X amount of dose of testosterone.
Rascal talks about liking aromas, and I do not like aromas at all. I
like
have
aromas.
bad. You like it?
Yeah, I don't like the rebound I would get off of the other one, the Rimidex.
I've had personally with aromas and a bit like long-term crash my estrogen, and I've seen it happen in some people. But look, once again, look, it's a tool in the toolbox. It works through a different mechanism. It works great for some people. But yeah, whatever AI you choose, I would have an AI on hand.
And to be fair, I started fairly obese, so killing my whatever
aromatase.
Yeah, aromatase would be good.
Probably was a good thing.
Mm-hmm.
All right, next question.
Next question is from Neil. He has some expired halotestin from 2024. Would it be safe to use now?
I don't think it'd be filled with bacteria. If that's what you're asking.
If it's never been used,
right?
Like it's completely sealed. Yeah.
I may or may not have used some 10-year-old testosterone.
Yeah, most of these hormones don't break down ever.
I'm on some 2022 dated D-ball as we speak.
Nice.
Seems to be working fine.
Yeah. So I guess Neil, you're okay to try it, but as long as it hasn't been used, that would be my one caveat.
Right.
Yeah. All right.
And buckle up for the ride. Halo is not a beginner's. I have a question why you're even using Halo. I don't use it anytime outside of contest prep at the end or peaking for a powerlifting meet. I don't really find it has much utility otherwise.
Unless your sole purpose in life is to fucking fight.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah.
Unless you're very timid and you need like courage in a bottle, I guess. Maybe.
All right. So from Gamboni Law, great show. Thoughts on MCT oil and coffee as a pre-workout?
If you're not eating any carbs,
sure,
it's an option. I mean, MCT, medium chain triglycerides, work a little differently. They basically are an energy source. It's an alternative to carbohydrates, but I would not mix it with. I would say carbohydrates are going to be more beneficial. I would eat some rice and forget the MCT oil.
Throw sugar in your coffee.
Do you think he's asking like fasted training, with his coffee in the morning?
Potentially. I mean, if you're doing fasted training, the MCT oil, coconut oil, things like that can kick you into ketosis quicker if you are running a keto style diet. So, it is a consideration, and I will use them in diets occasionally. Like there are times where I have to take fucking people down to 0 carbs. I don't like to do that, but there are some situations where I have to some people just can't lose fat any other way.
I think it's worth saying that MCT gives you some neurological effects, some cognition effects. So if the goal is to get focused up in the gym, MCT would certainly help with that in conjunction with caffeine.
Yeah.
MCT is also pretty efficient at giving you diarrhea too.
I was just going to say, you
which is
run the
also
risk of
very
disaster
good.
pants.
Yeah.
Which is also, and especially MCT with caffeine.
Mm-hmm. That could be a very fast moving situation. Don't do legs.
Yeah.
I will tell you this. When I start people, if I am having people use MCT, I start them off with a half a tablespoon. I think that is a but so from what I recall, MCT they bypass the gut and go straight to the liver, and don't require bile salts for breakdown, so they can be directly converted to energy, unlike other fats.
Yeah.
And they convert quickly to ketones. So like if you want to get rapidly into ketosis, it's it's a way to do it. But I generally, I like if you're eating a high carbohydrate meal, like your body, like this is kind of my logic on it. Your body's going to prioritize glucose as a fuel source. And so any excess fats that you eat in that situation are going to have a high potential of just being stored as body fat if you're in a caloric surplus.
Yep. Calories still matter, even if it comes from straight butter.
Yeah.
And MCT is a weird one too, because your muscles can use it directly for energy, whereas like you can't do that with other fats. Yeah, they're an interesting fat. They don't work like any other fats, but you ask any cardiologist about it and they're kind of like, they don't seem to like them.
Yeah. All right, you guys ready for the next one?
Sure.
From Loop, any knowledge you guys can pass on DHB?
Oh my God, dihydroboldenone is the popular one right now. Yeah, don't use it. That would be my knowledge I would pass.
So why is it so? It does seem to be like a big buzz in the community lately. Is it because of the whole primo not finding stuff?
For sure.
There's a certain doctor friend of ours that's been talking about it a lot. So I think that's where it's coming from.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
DHB and trends. So that's the other thing.
Yeah, I mean, look, here, I'll tell you my experience with DHB and what I've seen. Dihydroboldenone, I mean, it's very potent. I have seen some extremely fucked up blood panels from guys coming to me using DHB. If you're going to use it, you need to use it in extremely very small doses. I literally I had one guy came to me that was using DHB. I don't remember what he was running. I think it was 50 milligrams a day, somewhere around there.
Go on.
Yeah, and his ALT and AST were both north of 1400. I have never seen an ALT and AST that high before, and I've had multiple cases of guys
liver failure. That's about it.
Yeah,
and liver failure. Well, he was an acute liver failure. He had to go to the fucking ER.
Yeah.
He's like, I don't feel good. This guy booked a consult with me, and I'm like, yeah, bro, you're in liver failure.
A week, not 50 a day. I didn't. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. I mean, we're talking about really small doses, and if you want to get some DHB, just run equipoise. It reduces the DHB.
Isn't it one of those things where if equipoise is good for you, DHB will be even better though?
I just haven't seen it be that effective, man. Like the guys that are it's weird. People are all the time looking for obscure, odd compounds to shortcut the process in some way. And I just have not found. It's one of those ones. Look, this is kind of my evaluation process when choosing PEDs. If I'm going to take something that carries a higher risk and has more side effects,
it better do something.
It better do something unique that you can't do with any other compound. And I don't think DHB does anything uniquely well that you just can't accomplish with something that's significantly safer. And that you just can't run the doses high enough to really get anything out of it.
And long enough. That's the other thing.
Well, and long enough, yeah.
Game, you know?
Yeah, long enough. I mean, I would just run. I would ask, why are you using it? What are you trying to get out of it? You know, and look, it's a tool in the toolbox. I put it in there with mint. Mint's another one that people seem to be obsessed with.
Just up the trend.
Yeah, just up the fucking trend. Yeah, like I just don't think
really.
Yeah, I like just take your test, okay?
if you want to run a higher toxicity injectable that's going to be potent, just fucking take trend.
Well, it's in a competitive athlete's nature to always be trying to, add an extra yard to a drive or shave a thousandth of a second off of a time. It's just, we're always looking for every little edge. But if you spend so much time buried in finding every little edge while you're not doing the basics extremely well, you're wasting your time. You're running in circles. It's like, if you're not already taking like the basic compounds like testosterone, a DHT derivative, maybe a NOR19, and doing them consistently over a period of time with managing your diet, managing stress and recovery and all these other variables, and you think DHB is going to be the thing that makes up for your poor work ethic, it's just not how it works.
Yep.
Yeah, and it's another one of those things. Like I see guys that'll run Mint or DHB or some of these 1-methyl trianolone,
Yeah.
all these obscure compounds, and then I look at them and I'm like, what did they do? Did you get any? I mean, you don't look any better than anybody else.
Yeah, it's like, did you jump in class, somehow? Like, do you gain like 20 pounds of muscle over a year extra or something? No. And you screwed up your labs.
To me, it's just stick with the stuff that we know that we tolerate well. That sort of the baseline for cycles for me is the bioidentical shit.
Yeah.
To start off with test, and trend is bioidentical, right?
Identify the big fat cow.
Yeah. Look, I would start off a test in GH as kind of my baseline of a cycle. You could even argue for a little bit of insulin, and then just branch out from there. I would pick the stuff that is most well tolerated at higher doses with a higher safety profile. I mean, and I would probably, like my A tier of first choice anabolics would probably be Primo or Masteron. Although Masteron's probably a little more difficult. I have a preference for Primo Bolin, but the difference between the two of them are subtle. And probably my B choice would be Equipoise or Deca. It would be in that category. Maybe Anavar you could throw in there. Those would be the B choices. And outside of that, really, maybe occasionally you could make an argument to sprinkle an oral like Anadrol or Anavar, and Anavar would probably be the first oral I would choose. And then really, if you just do that over a consistent period of time and get your diet buttoned up and train hard, you're going to grow. Anyway, my lecture, my rant.
Pathways, though, right, Paul? You talked about Nandrolone, which is a NOR19 or DECA, as opposed to.
I mean, they both act on the androgen receptor, but they selectively act on the androgen receptor, so they do have different pathways of action and different genomic effects. Where like Anadrol is really no genomic effect at all. Anadrol is all non-genomic, central nervous system stimulation and some weird stuff. But yeah, from what I understand, both DECA and Tren are synthetic progestins, and they do have some very unique effects, and also some very unique side effects as well that can cause problems. So I would put them probably. Tren would probably be in my C tier, but I would take Tren over DHB or Mint any day if I were going to go that route. I mean, in my toolbox,
DHT, right?
What's that?
Boldenone is a DHT, though.
No, Boldenone's a testosterone derivative.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a
and
testosterone.
we also don't have any. I don't think there's really any studies on humans really with DHB, and maybe 2 in either rabbits or mice. I mean, there's really not much to go off of other than this anecdotal evidence that you have as a coach, to look at people's blood panels with it. So, I mean, just a level of uncertainty makes me, it's kind of like the SARM discussion. Until I have something to go off of other than my own body to play with.
Yeah, everything's anecdotal at the point, right? It's just
Equipoise is interesting because it is just a D-ball and equipoise are essentially the same molecule. D-ball is just methylated. Even though that methylation completely changes the action of the drug, but
right.
What's that?
Masteron versus Superdrol.
Yeah, Masteron.
Which one's a little better?
Yeah, I mean methylated drugs are always going to be more potent. But yeah. Anyway, let's move on to the next one.
All right. Well, it segues pretty well because we were talking about DECA. Zionic said he's just bumped up to 500 tests, 200 DECA, wants to know any tips to get the most out of this combo while keeping the side effects down.
Yeah, don't run DECA.
A 5-HTP on health trip
C tier.
standby.
C tier.
I would at this point, like years and years, I was a DECA fucking guy in fucking 90s, man. Nobody ran testosterone in the 90s. Everybody was running DECA and D-ball. Yeah, DECA and D-ball. That was the Mike Mentzer cycle.
It worked.
And I ran a lot of those when I was younger, and it was great at growing guy now. DECA seems to have some sort of effect on aromatase expression. I don't exactly understand the mechanisms, but estrogen gets way out of control when you pair DECA with testosterone. I would only use DECA as a third compound, and I would use something to mediate estrogen in there. Probably the early 2000s, a popular combo was DECA, equipoise, and testosterone. And if you think about it, equipoise seems to be the most potent at lowering estradiol out of all the anabolics that we have, and so DECA seems to pair up well with it. But I would run it at lower doses. I mean, running DECA at 50% of your testosterone dose is asking for growing boobies and having a limp noodle. in my experience, I would probably do something like, if you were running 500 tests, I would probably run something like 250, 300 equipoise and maybe like 150 DECA or something with it.
There we go. Good advice.
That's just my 2 cents. Take it for what it's worth. I don't know what the fuck I'm talking about, according to most people.
We got lots of drug questions today. This one also from Steve. Can anyone tell us or tell him how long Mast E stays in your system after you've completed a cycle?
I mean, it's a 5 to 7 day half-life, right? Times 5 half-lives to effectively eliminate. I don't know how long the metabolites are present if you're worried about drug testing.
Right. Well, it might be like 25 to 40-ish.
Yeah, I would say if you wanted to just, about a month, the drug is effectively eliminated. But I mean, you think about it, like in that 5 to 7 day window, it's going to be halved. In the next 5 to 7 day window, it's going to be 25%, then 12.5, then 6.25. Yeah. I mean, so it's, half of it's going to be gone in a week, and then you're going to be down to 25% in 2 weeks.
Yep. All right. From Gabe, is it normal to have 1 milligram retatrutide raise fasted blood glucose to high hundreds or to high 90s, low hundreds early in the off season? I've heard that some people have experienced that, but I would say it's not normal.
No, I mean, my guess would be what is happening is you're probably having some sort of dawn effect. You're probably, although 100, it's not really that high. I would get a CGM and see what's going on with your glucose levels overnight. My guess is that you're probably having some sort of low glucose overnight, or maybe a cortisol dump before you wake up in the morning, and it's rising up. I'll see it in mine all the time, where mine will be in the 90s all night, and then about 30 minutes before I wake up, it'll jump up to like 110, 115.
Yeah, I'd also urge people to make sure that they're a little bit mindful when they go to test their fasted glucose in the mornings, that they're consistent with their routine. Like, like giving a good example, Jackie and I always explain to people, drink 20 ounces of water or a liter of water, give yourself a little time, walk around, circulate the blood. 20 minutes later, test your blood glucose, and have a continuous variables that you put into play from wake till test. So that way you can get consistencies. I mean, if you are a little bit dehydrated for a couple of days because you're full from starting your off season with food, you might not be hydrated. You could just be actually forcing your numbers up yourself. So to confirm you're getting good data that you can actually use, I would just implement those small things as well.
It could be just that you ate a bunch of food before you went to bed.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
But I mean, you do see it on when you're consistent on a prep and the food's consistent, schedule's consistent, certain things are consistent. you know, if you don't hydrate in the morning or you just test at different times, you know, because you've been a little more active, you can get a different number and it can throw you off mentally at the numbers you're trying to compare. So it's just a thought, you know, have a routine to test it accurately.
Yeah, I think that's good advice always.
I don't
Consistency.
know if you
Then you
can
see trends. Let's
see this, like mine, if I can get it to focus.
There you go.
94.
You can see the over. You can see the over the last meal, and then the ups and downs overnight, and then I get up. You can see like right before I get up how it
Spikes.
went up.
Yep.
It spikes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cortisol dump.
I got one question that kind of pertains to it's just a thought that, but Paul or Josh, you might be able to explain this a little better. But if now I know he said 1 milligram of retatrutide, but if you were up to having high doses of glucagon, wouldn't that still dump glucose back into your bloodstream that can be tested on a glucose test? Is that right? Like if you take too much glucagon, it does release glucose back into the blood.
Well, glucagon is
Dr. Dean mentioned something about that.
Glucagon. The glucagon agonist is supposed to keep the liver cleared of glucose at all times, right? That's essentially what's going on.
Sure.
But
So
you know, there is reactive hypoglycemia. Your body will release glucagon, which will cause a glycogen dump from the liver.
Mm-hmm.
You know, if you start to go hypo in the morning, or if you have high cortisol, that'll increase glucagon release. But the glucagon agonist from what I recall in the retatrutide is supposed to eliminate that effect because there is nothing there. It's basically glucagon is triggered at all times, right? If I'm understanding the mechanisms correctly.
Okay.
Yeah. Gabe, good tip just to take berberine too to help with insulin sensitivity.
Berberine, metformin, fasted cardio.
I like metformin too, for sure.
You can take both, but I wouldn't recommend it.
Yeah.
Especially with like a 90s, like just a berberine would be fine. Might increase your hunger though. That was the one thing I found with berberine plus Reta. You get hungry.
All right. This one is from Alexander King. Question: my last diet, I was down to sub 1,400 calories and 80 minutes of cardio a day at 12 weeks out conditioning. Should I keep pushing or bake in an 8-week or so reverse diet before finishing the diet? I feel like
1,400 sub, that's low.
Yeah. He says he's at 12 weeks out conditioning, but does that mean he has 12 weeks of his diet left and he wants to take 8 of them as a diet break and then do 4?
How much does he weigh?
No, he's just talking about, I think he's talking about like he's not quite to his body fat goals or lean but his calories are very low. Talking about taking a diet break. I would 1,400 is really fucking low, dude.
Yeah.
I would probably, if you're not losing weight anymore, this is what I would do if you're a client of mine. I would take a 6 or 8 week diet break and start creeping the carbs back up and see if we can get your metabolism going again. That's just way too low.
Start cutting down.
I generally don't take men down that low. I would say like my bare, I'm trying to do some math on it. Like my bare minimum with guys, like I don't like going much lower than 150 grams of carbs on a medium day. I don't like going much lower than 20 to 30 grams of added fats on a medium day. If you've gotten that low, your metabolism is probably, I mean, like how much lower are you going to take it? And if you're not, 80 minutes of cardio is fucking crazy.
Yeah, that's a lot.
That's a lot.
Yeah, I don't see it as being for 12 weeks.
Yeah, it sounds like you need a break, man. I would take the cardio back down to 15, 20 minutes a day.
Yeah, I mean, like the recovery from all that cardio, like that accumulated fatigue.
And it's funny. I just had this experience with another one of my clients. We put some carbs back in. He was like this. We had the food low, cardio cranked up. We upped the carb. We lowered the cardio, up the carbs, and then his metabolism started working again, and he started losing weight.
Yeah. It was like me post show this year.
Yeah.
Stress is a powerful thing. And I mean, who knows how long he's been in this diet too? That's the other
Right. Well, how
outlier.
much weight
Maybe
is he
he's been
losing right
dieting
now?
for 20 plus weeks, then it's definitely time for a break. If he's been dieting for 3 weeks and he cut that drastically fast.
Well, it also
Yeah.
depends
It may
on
be
how fat he was
restructured.
when he started too, you know.
Yeah,
that's true.
Yeah.
a lot of factors.
Just the fact that you're in the way you're asking, it seems like you're feeling it, like you might need a break too. And I don't see that 1,400 calories and, you know, almost an hour and a half of cardio being sustainable to finish your goals in one shot. So, you know, pick your punches, and if you need a break, I would take the break, you know, for sure.
I wanted to go back to the last question real quick. I don't think I elucidated it properly, but like the glucagon agonist should prevent the idea of having it in there is prevent those spikes from glucagon.
Gotcha.
Okay.
So it keeps it more stable.
Yeah, it keeps the blood sugar more stable.
I see. Gotcha.
All right. We got one more. We're actually getting through all of them today. This one's from Nanny. Your thoughts on taking enclomiphene only for natural test boost?
Oh, my favorite question.
If you want to give yourself an aneurysm, that might be a good thing.
Yeah.
I don't think it's going to do a whole lot.
Nope.
Well, I
I'd
think
rather
you
do
also get inconsistencies from other things. Like you're not going to get a consistent estrogen readings all the time. I mean, those can go up and down. You see it with people, they use enclomiphene for their TRT, and then their other hormones are up and down, never really kind of stabilizing. But that's what I've seen anyhow.
Clomiphene and enclomiphene both make you feel like fucking trash, and clomiphene less like trash.
Yeah.
I don't like either one of them. If you wanted something to boost your testosterone up, I would go back to what we said the other one before, is maybe some HCG monotherapy would be something to consider, or just take testosterone.
Yeah.
There's that
Bioidentical hormone testosterone. Yeah.
Your body knows how to handle already, and you don't have to like adapt.
there is that. I mean, if you're, I would. I mean,
Outside of Vigorous Steve, though, you don't hear people talking enough about the clotting risks that come with enclomiphene and Clomid. I mean, you know, blood clots are real, and then blood clots kill people. So,
no doubt.
There's nothing over the counter for blood clots. You go to the ER.
There was a kid at my gym that ended up almost dying from a blood clot from clomiphene and from what was the other one he was using, the other serum, tamoxifen.
Go together. Wow.
Oof.
Yeah.
Just, put your big boy pants on and use a needle. It's not as hard as you think it is.
It really isn't.
Yeah.
But from what I understand, all serums carry risk of blood clots.
Oh wow. Okay.
Sounds all right.
Yeah, and I also want to control how high my testosterone is going to get too. Like you can do that dose dependent with your with using, you know, injecting testosterone. It's a lot easier.
Yeah, that's a really good point, Dave.
Yeah.
Some people are more predisposed. As a guess, are these only paid? No, we're just answering stuff as they come up.
None of them are paid questions.
Nobody wants some paid questions.
Ask away, man.
Nobody donates anymore.
But if you want to be generous, we'll answer your question if you want.
All free.
Hey, we need to start a cheesecake fund like Vigorous
Somebody was asking me how much for coaching. I don't know if that was for me, Dave, any of the other people on the podcast. I charge $400 a month, but for what it's worth.
Dang, that ain't bad.
Not paying for this.
Love you, Zoltar.
Not paying for this shit. It's all good. I do it for free. If you want to donate, it goes into the Arnold I'm buying dinner fund.
Oh, there's gonna be people this year at the Arnold. There's gonna actually be people on prep. Jackie's gonna be on prep. Paul might be on prep.
Nah,
at the Arnold.
I am definitely not starting prep until after the Arnold.
Right? Yeah.
I'm also
big.
Yeah.
I am also going to Disney later that month, so there will be no prep at Disney. You can't go to Disney and get the meal plan and not go fuck up some food.
Yep.
Yeah, I was on prep at the last Arnold, and my coach told me, "Yeah, just go ahead and go to dinner tonight and eat what you want."
Didn't hurt it. Didn't hurt you, did it?
No, it didn't.
Nah.
Zoltero said we can talk deload and active recovery. I took one deload in 7 years. It's probably why I ended up with shoulder surgery.
You're asking psychotic people.
Yeah. This is one of those, like, I feel like this is something very common that we all know we should do it. And we all know
we really need to.
Exactly. Like, we know the benefits, we know, I know, but we don't do it. Like, we really don't.
I take a day off because I have a 16-hour shift. That's it. So
you're forced into taking a deload because you have a 16-hour shift.
Yeah. I never heard of a deload until like the last 8 years.
Fatigue is a myth. Run.
Well, I should take that back. When Dante Trudell trained me, Dante was really ahead of his time. This was back in 2003, 2005.
Mm-hmm.
He would have you push hard for about 5 weeks, and then he called it a cruise, where you cruise for a week and then go back to progressing your weights. But that was because that style of training, which was where JP training came from, was so fucking brutal and hard. You got to a point where your joints are just like you had tapping out. You didn't have a choice.
The coaching contract. That's why it's every 5 weeks.
Look, realistically, if you push hard, I program it in for my clients and I tell them it's optional, but I would say 5 to 6 weeks of pushing hard. And then you program in a deload. And usually when I do deloads, I'll dial the weights back like 20-30%.
I'll be honest, when you gave me my my workout program, like there's it's clearly marked like deload week, like on week 8, I think.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I just pass the page. I just go like, oh.
Yeah, well, I mean, if we're gonna be honest here, I think I trained 7 days a week for like 3 years straight. and I did get overtrained on contest prep. And I don't know that I ever took a deload. I mean, I would occasionally take a day off or some other stuff, but
now I will say that I did take days for active recovery. My middle son is a rock climber, and we would go out and just go rock climbing that day. And that day I would not lift at all. It was more like, you'd hike to a place and then we'd rock climb for the afternoon and then come back. So it was active. There was activity. There was exercise. Definitely, bouldering is like not that easy, but it was definitely not a workout, per se. And it was relaxing. You're outside, So I found very beneficial, not just from the muscle aspect, but the mental one, because it got you out of the gym for a minute. It got you out of the routine and in the air and in the environment. So, so from that perspective, not necessarily just physically, but mentally, an active recovery day like that would be super fun, and you still do something.
Somebody was asking about tests for clotting risk. There are, he has a genetic in his family. There's factor 5 you can get tested, if I remember, which is a genetic cofactor for. There's also if you go to most lab places, they do have clotting tests you can get where they have all the different clotting factors. Platelets are a big one to look for, but there's a bunch of other factors that could cause increased clotting. There's a bunch of other stuff, but some people just seem to be at higher risk of clots. And if you look at some of the past bodybuilders that have died, they probably had some sort of underlying genetic condition or increased clotting factors that paired with others. I see guys all the time, like if you look at the guys that have passed away, it's usually of clots and strokes and things like that. It's usually at the end of contest prep. Dirty little secret is a lot of guys do run tamoxifen at the end of contest prep to dry up any gyno that might be there. A lot of the guys you look at that have had clots were running equipoise, which does increase RBC hemoglobin hematocrit more aggressively than any of the other injectables. And then you combine that up with some dehydration, diuretic use going on the show, and then you've got a situation where clots are very, 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 very risky at the end. So I would go get a full panel, talk to your doctor, but there are tests you can get. The factor V, which is if I recall correctly, is a genetic mutation for increased clotting. There's a bunch of other ones though you can check.
As far as compounds to avoid, all the ones we just mentioned, SERMs and clomiphene and
EQ, right?
Yeah, I mean, I would probably keep your hemoglobin, hematocrit, red blood cell count on the lower end of the normal, or lower end of the bodybuilding normal. Fish oil seems to help. Low dose aspirin. Maybe go talk to a hematologist. You know, there's that thing called a doctor that specializes in this kind of stuff.
Yeah.
And if you do have a genetic predisposition, you probably would want to find out for your children, so you can warn your kids.
Yeah.
I just did a bunch of genetic testing this year. I saw a geneticist, and I was kind of like, I don't know if I really want to know any of this stuff. And the geneticist is like, look, it's not about you; it's your kids.
Yeah. What was the wait list for a genetic test?
Like 3 months to get in to see the geneticist. 4 months.
What city?
Washington, D.C.
Okay, cool. Thank you. It's actually helpful for me.
Yeah, I think it took me about 4 months to see the geneticist. You know, and there were some things I wanted to test for that they just like. There's really like I know dementia runs in my family, and she was just like, there's so many potential things that contribute to it. It's not even really worth testing for.
Yeah.
Is what she told me. But like, you know, definitely like diabetes and dyslipidemia and some of the cardiovascular side. You know, we live in it's interesting. I kind of was thinking about like long-term health, but like and this is what my cardiologist told me, there's basically no excuse for anybody having a heart attack right now. We've kind of got cardiovascular disease risk figured out at this point. And if you're proactive in managing it, you can pretty much eliminate any risk unless there's some sort of defect or something going on. But yeah, cardiovascular disease is the most common cause of acute death.
Yeah, that kills.
But like dementia and some of these other secondary things, we don't have a whole lot of control over. Cancer, we don't have a whole lot of control. I mean, there's some environmental factors that play into it, but diet and just being in shape. Really, probably my doctor was saying the single most important thing you can do to really for all your health is just to not be fat and make sure your metabolic health is in order.
Transparent, Niles said he did like the 23andMe thing, and he was able to get the raw data from them from 23andMe, and then they just fed it into a large language model of some type, and it gave him all of his genetic information and predispositions. And
oh wow,
yeah,
that's cool.
I've heard the 23andMe testing is not that great. That's what I've heard, but I don't know.
It's an aggregate. So basically, they take a bunch of genes from people that tell you they're this gene or that gene, and then they kind of figure out what is what and where is where. Is it that great? I don't think so, but I'm not sure. I would say your thing when you go to an MD who's a geneticist, much better, especially with a wait list only 4 months. I might be coming to DC in 4 months.
Yeah, it was person I saw here. God damn it, I can't remember there was like different ones in this practice too. Like the one lady I saw too, because I've always had dyslipidemia and diabetes, and this was this specific geneticist specialized in those two areas.
Wow.
There were different people inside of that practice that specialize in different. There was one that specializes in cancer, but there's a million different genes for cancer, and like you know, they were telling me that cancer is. Even if you have genetics for certain types of cancer, like I had some genetic testing done for melanoma because I've had it twice. And I do have a genetic predisposition for it. But they were saying that environmental factors play so heavily into cancer as well. So it's a combination of genetics and environmental factors, whereas like dyslipidemia is pretty cut and dry. It's one of the, if you have it, you need to aggressively treat it. That's why I'm on a statin. I know that's another dirty word in the bro community. If I say,
which I never understand that. Like, why is that so controversial? We know
I
they
have
work.
no idea. I have no idea.
Enzyme Q10 because it does drain that from your body.
It's like I'm okay with like taking Tren, but Crestor is one bridge too far. I mean, is that how that
take
works?
Crestor so I can take Tren.
Bros and their logical fallacies sometimes are
or the argument, which I will die on this hill, of like the old school bodybuilder saying like you shouldn't take Retta because you have to suffer. It's like, does suffering add muscle? Does it give you
I've seen that seems to have died off, but I did see some of it pop back up this week.
Yeah, every once in a while I'll get the occasional troll like in my forums or whatever. Like,
I'm like, okay,
you don't suffer, it doesn't count. It's like, what do you mean it doesn't count?
So clenbuterol.
We're putting rules on bodybuilding now. That's the whole point. There are no rules.
It's the one sport
biohack.
And it's the one sport that it's all about whatever advantage you can get, you do. Like, because you want to win, right? And what's this arbitrary, like, is there a suffering gauge or meter that I'm unaware of that judges are using? I don't know. I don't think so. That guy was hungrier, so we'll give him more points. What?
Yeah, it's that old school meathead approach to the guy that suffers the most. But unfortunately, they don't give you bonus points for that.
Right. It's pointless. Oh well.
10 said, I thought statins prohibited muscle growth. I don't know, dude. I've been on statin for fucking 25 years. I got pretty big.
I take Tren to counter the statin muscle growth inhibition.
There we go. See? Adapt.
No, there is some, lipophilic statins do affect muscle to a certain degree. A lot of people will get aches and cramps and stuff from it. Yeah. You just use a hydrophilic statin. You don't have that issue. Yeah. I use rosuvastatin for that reason. The lipophilic statins can penetrate muscle tissue in the blood-brain barrier, and there is some thought that there is some increased risk of muscle issues and potential dementia. That's the thing that guys bring up all the time. But I'm like, you know what else affects muscles? Having a fucking heart attack.
Yeah. That's the ultimate muscle effect.
You know what else? What else affects your brain? Having a goddamn stroke.
Yep, real bad.
One other, might as well mention it. I don't know if it pertains to anybody here, but I did just get an email a couple days ago about a recall on a statin. If you happen to take it,
which one?
Atorvastatin.
Yeah,
so generic Lipitor. I guess the problem is that it's the coating or dissolution.
Yeah, I saw it was a manufacturing thing.
So it might not be absorbed properly.
Yeah, it was a manufacturing thing.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, there's some. I used to get like some muscle aches and stuff and muscle weakness from when I was on the lipophilic statin. The hydrophilic statins aren't as effective. But they do seem to prevent most of those problems that I've had no problems on. And it's a combination, from what I understand from talking to my lipidologist, the combination of ezetimibe with the rosuvastatin probably works better than a hydrophilic statin by itself.
Yeah, so my cholesterol's like 30 LDL. And my HDL's like 50.
And there's some other like really potent stuff like Repatha and shit.
There's crazy stuff,
yeah. I mean, Repatha will just basically nuke all of your. I mean, Retta is really fucking great at lowering your cholesterol.
Yeah.
We have a puffy nipple question. I love puffy nipples. I don't know.
We do, and I'm sorry, guys. I've got like a couple more minutes, and then I have to get off. So I'm going to have to turn over the questions to somebody else here in just a moment. But I'll ask this one. Puffy nipples and gyno flare-ups from Anadrol and Tren. Why does this happen, and how do I prevent it?
Genetics. Go get gyno surgery. You won't have to worry about it again. No, Anadrol does not reduce to they don't know 100% why anadrol causes gyno. It does seem to somehow directly interact with the with the estrogen receptor, even though it does not reduce to estrogen. I've talked to Kurt about this. Like they have no fucking idea why it does, but it does seem to cause gyno. Tren is a synthetic progestin, and it's likely the that effect or possibly prolactin. I just don't see guys get high prolactin from Tren. If you have high prolactin, you'll know it. You'll fucking be lactating. You'll be able to squeeze milk from your boobies. You'll know it if you have guys. Like I literally almost never see high prolactin on blood work. Like it's very uncommon. It's not to say it doesn't happen, but it's very uncommon. And guys are constantly throwing caber at it. It's likely the how it interacts with the progesterone receptor that's causing the gyno.
It's going to be worse if you're fat. You're going to be aromatizing more.
Oh, that's true. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, there's many pathways to cause gyno. IGF-1 can fucking cause gyno. You know, the prolactin, progesterone, estrogen, all of them can cause gyno flare-ups, or a combination of all of the above.
Yeah, a combination of all that. Like, sure.
Well, and his ultimate question is, how do I prevent it?
Get gyno surgery.
Less lower the dose.
Don't use Tren.
Yeah.
Don't use Anadrol.
Whoa. Let's not go that far.
Let's not go that far. I mean, yeah. I mean, we talked about serums earlier. Serums seem to work pretty well for all of that. There seems to be some cross receptor talk, from what I understand, or occupation with the serum. That seems to be the only thing that you can use to address especially like with like an AI is not going to work on Tren or Anadrol, but a serum does seem to work. But then you have the increased clotting risk, and that goes back to just get the fucking gyno removed. Or don't use those compounds. Those are the two simple answers. All right, we got to roll, guys. Sorry, I've been rambling. All right, folks, we love each and every one of you. Adios. We will see you on the next episode. And hopefully I didn't piss anybody off with the volume talk and calling people pussies for needing deloads and rest days and all that jazz and working out one side.
But if you are pissed, just leave it in the comments.
But, yeah, sure. No, just leave it in the comments.
Write us in the comments.
I'll respond in kind. And yes, we are pussies for using Red Up.